that.
All right. How many do we have in the courtroom and how many do we have in the queue?
We have 8 in the courtroom and let's see, about 9 in the waiting room.
Can we find out who they are, who are physically there and who needs interpreting services? And that's physically in the courtroom.
Okay.
And we can go ahead and let the people in the queue in.
Okay, we will do that.
Thank you.
Have we identified anyone that needs interpretive services here?
No, sure.
Okay, we only have one.
Miss Yolanda, the only one in the calendar that may or may not is on page 5, Villa Arriola Maro Alexis.
Okay,
They have
presented.
yeah.
Okay.
As you come in, please make sure that your device stays on mute and type your full name and your email address in the chat and send it to FPMC. Type your full name and your email address in the chat and send it to FPMC.
Okay. Now, what is your client's name? Okay. And do you know who the driver was? Gotcha. So the solicitor has not made it in yet. I will let him know that you're here. What was your name again? Aaron Torres. Okay.
For those of you all that are in this session virtually, let me give you a few instructions regarding virtual court. Please keep your video on at all times. Please make sure that you are in an environment where there are no distractions in the background, that you have proper internet connectivity. There should be no hats or other items on your head unless they're there for religious reasons. And please make sure that your full name and your email address is typed in the chat. I'm going to handle those in the chat first, and then I will go to those in the courtroom. When I call your name, this is a trial calendar, which meant you came to court on your arraignment date and you entered a not guilty plea. If you are changing your plea to guilty or nolo, let me know immediately. If not, we will go ahead and get you in line to have your bench trial this morning in your case. When you hear your name called, I'm going by the names that I see on the devices. Make sure that you have the appropriate name on your device so that when your name is called, you can answer appropriately. If you are a witness, please feel free to let me know that. Okay. Let me start with Nancy Gonzalez Hernandez.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ms. Hernandez. What is your plea to improper turn and not having your license on your person? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
No.
Right. Can someone let me know if Ms. Hernandez is eligible for a nolo plea?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, do you understand that by entering into the nolo plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yeah.
And do you, if you'll please say yes or no, and do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
Young lady, are you entering into this plea freely and voluntarily? In other words, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol? All right, young lady, do you have any questions you'd like to ask the court?
No.
All right, do you have a valid driver's license or some type of permit?
Yes.
Can I please see it?
Okay. Give me 1 second. I don't have it here with me.
Can you all verify on her history whether or not she has a driver's license or some type of permit?
She does, Judge Freeman. She has a Class C.
Okay, thank you. Then you don't need to find it. Young lady, the total fines for both violations are $175. Do you understand that?
I'm sorry?
The total fines for both violations are $175. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Are you able to pay that within 2 weeks, or do you need to be placed on probation to pay that?
I will go ahead and pay that in 2 weeks.
All right. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat? Ms. Hernandez, did you hear what I asked you?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Yes. Have you typed your name and your email address
Yes.
in the chat? Do we have her information?
1 second, Your Honor. I don't see it. Give me 1 second. Yes, sir, I see it.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, they have your name and your email address. By close of business tomorrow, you will receive your plea form. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Please enter a NOLO plea and send it back immediately, and then you will receive your 2-week agreement. Make sure you comply and make sure the sum of $175 is paid within 2 weeks. Do you understand that?
Yes. So one for both kids or each of them?
Nope, it's $175 for both of them.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No. So after I pay, I will be done with having
Once you-
any.
Once you have paid the $175, these 2 tickets in Forest Park are concluded. That is correct.
Will they be added to a driver's license points?
Well, on the improper turn, because you've entered a NOLO plea, you will not receive any points. Do you understand that?
All right, that's fine.
Do you have any other questions?
No. So I'm sorry. So they're just gonna send me an email and I just have to indicate NOLO, and then after that I will get a notice.
You will get a notice that says 2 weeks and how to pay during that 2-week time frame.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
All right, young lady, if there's nothing else, you can disengage from this call. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, you can click off. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you. You
All
too.
right.
Thank you.
Next is DeMonte Holston. Mr. Holston, you're charged with failing to stop at a railroad crossing, sir. What is your plea to that? Is it not guilty, or nolo contendere?
Not guilty.
All right, we will call your matter for trial momentarily. Please stay on the line. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You can go ahead and mute your device. Next is Royal Cobb.
Right here.
Ms. Cobb, what is your plea to the improper backing charge? Is it not guilty, or nolo contendere?
Nolo.
All right, is Ms. Cobb eligible for a nolo plea?
1 second, Your Honor.
Ms. Cobb, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right.
I do have her email address, Your Honor.
No, she's
Uh,
not.
She's not eligible for NOLO.
All right, young lady, you're not eligible for a nolo, so you'd have to do a guilty or a not guilty. You must have pled a nolo within the preceding 5 years.
Say that again.
You have pled a nolo within the preceding 5 years, so you are not eligible. Do you understand that?
What do you mean 5 years? What's that?
That means that within the last 5 years, you received a ticket and you entered a nolo plea. And you can only enter a nolo plea once every 5 years to a moving violation.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I got you now. No, not guilty.
All right, we will call your case momentarily for trial. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Johelabeth Cruz.
Sir?
Okay, for something's going on with your camera, you can see that you're turned to the side. Is there any way for you to? Thank you. Young lady, you have a charge of driving without a valid license and failure to yield. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you open up your mouth and say yes or no?
Yes,
All right. Did you have a valid license at the date and time that the officer stopped you?
no,
All right. What is your plea to that charge? Is it guilty, not guilty, or nolo contendere?
Guilty.
All right. And what is your plea to the failure to yield charge?
Guilty.
All right. How old are you?
17.
Have you secured yourself a driver's license?
No.
What is the holdup? Or a permit?
I got a permit.
All right, can we verify? Let me see your permit.
Mhm.
Can we verify that she has a permit?
I'm checking now, Your Honor.
All right.
We don't see anything for her. It just says no driver found.
All right, she is showing something. If you could put it a look, when did you get your permit, young lady?
Like 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay. Do you know when we ran our histories?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, Your Honor. Actually, we just ran it 2 days ago.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Cruz, let me tell you, you say that you have a permit. I see it. I'm gonna need for you to take a photo of that and send that to the court. Can you do that?
Yep.
All right, can you give her, how can she send that? Can someone give her the email address?
Yes,
Take a photo of the front and the back of it.
yes, I will email that to her.
All right, young lady, let me just, do you understand that by entering into the guilty plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Mhm.
I need for you to open up your mouth and
Yes.
say yes or no.
Sorry.
Do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
Do you understand, are you entering this plea, Ms. Cruz, freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the guilty plea to both charges?
Yes.
Young lady, the court will accept your guilty plea to both charges. Assuming that permit is valid, I'm going to reduce the charge of driving without a valid license to expired license. Do you understand that?
Yes.
That will make that fine $400 as opposed to $735. The fine on failure to yield is $200. So your total fine is $600. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Are you able to satisfy that in 2 weeks, young lady, or do you need a longer period of time?
I can pay that in 2 weeks.
All right. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes.
All right. I believe they have your information. Is that correct, Ms. Green?
That's correct.
All right, young lady, you will receive a plea form within the next 2 weeks. Excuse me, you will receive your plea form by close of business tomorrow. Please enter a nolo plea and send it back. Do you understand that? I mean, a guilty plea and send it back. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And then after you have sent your guilty plea back, you then will receive your 2-week agreement. Make sure you've paid the sum of $600 within 2 weeks. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you are having any problems, please contact the court, and we have in-person court on every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Are you still in high school?
Yes. I graduated
Well, congratulations to you. Where did you graduate from?
Charles Drew High School.
All right, well, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, well, you can disengage from the call. Thank you. You can
Thank you.
turn it. All right, thank you. All right. Rodney Smith,
Yes, sir.
how are you doing, Mr. Smith?
I'm doing good, sir. And yourself?
I am doing very well. You have a couple of charges I'm gonna take you through, and for each one, if you'll say guilty, not guilty, or nolo. All right, sir?
Okay.
The first one is obscuring your license plate. What is your plea to that?
Not guilty.
All right. The other one is driving with an expired tag. What is your plea to that?
Not guilty.
All right. The other one is concealing the tag. What is your plea to that?
Guilty.
The other one involves, let me ask you this. Some of these charges let me know that you either had the wrong car tag on that car. So the tag that was on that car, did it belong to that car or did it belong to another car?
Well, actually, I wasn't aware that the tag that was on the truck belonged on the trailer.
Whose
And
truck was it?
My truck.
Okay, well, how did that tag get on there?
Well, when I got the plates together at the same time, I just put the plates on the truck and then realized that the tag that was on the truck was supposed to go on the trailer.
Okay,
And that's when I think the officer pulled me over, and he said that the tag came back up that it was stolen. And I was confused when he said it was stolen. I said that it belongs to me. So he detained me, and he went and ran some information and came back. And that's when I was aware that the trailer tag was on the truck.
okay.
But
Have
initially,
you, all right, so let me just say something to you. I understand you didn't know, but you do understand that the fact that the trailer tag was on the truck, and it sounds like the truck tag may have been on the trailer, that's what led to these charges.
yeah,
And you also understand that you were the person that did it, although at the time that you did it, you did not know.
yeah. But what happened, one of them came back up as stolen,
Okay,
which was from out the city of East Point. That
Okay.
belonged to the trailer, and they said that I had stole the trailer. But then I told him that I didn't steal the trailer, and that they could go in my glove compartment and get the registration and everything for both the vehicles.
Okay.
And he came back and said that there was no registration, but I tell him to go look again.
Okay, well, let me do this for you. Let me hear, you've entered enough not guilty pleas. Let me get the officer. I will have the officer momentarily, and let me find out what happened. But it sounds like the obscured tag, I just want you to understand the basis of the obscured tag, sir, is that you had the trailer tag on your truck. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So to the extent that you're entering a not guilty plea to that, you're basically saying you did not have the trailer tag on your truck. Do you understand that?
Okay, so obscured or missing license plate, that means that I had the trailer tag on the truck.
That is correct.
Okay, so then because I put that there, I have to plead guilty.
Right. And then the other one was expired tag, which meant that whatever tag you on there, it was not the correct year tag. So if
Okay,
you
the
had
tag-
the trailer tag on the truck,
Okay, it had the correct decal on the August 23.
of what year?
23.
All right, of 2023.
Yes.
All right. Miss Green, my docket shows there are a total of 5 charges. Are some of these duplicative?
I can get that tag right now and
Yeah,
show
no.
it.
Hold on a minute. Let me clarify something with the Miss
Yes.
Green. I don't know if you can see the docket, but I'm showing, it looks like a few of these charges may be duplicative. Is that correct?
The one there's a duplicate 683311. That's the
Uh-huh.
only one that is not a correct one. The one that has 0 by it.
Yes. So the defective tail light charge is a correct charge.
That's correct.
The expired tag is a correct charge.
Correct.
And so he has a total of 3 tickets.
Actually 5. They actually
Okay.
5 tickets.
Tell me what maybe that's what the confusing. Tell me, so one charge is obscuring a missing tag.
Okay, so 307 is tags operating without a proper tag.
Uh-huh.
Then 308 is removing affixing license plate with intent to conceal.
Okay.
309 is tail light lens required.
That's the one that I didn't have. Okay. All right. 309. Okay. All right.
And 310 is another tail light lens required.
Okay.
11, 311 is display of license plate.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. All right. So, Mr. Smith, it looks like that there are a total of 5 tickets that you received, sir. Do you understand that?
Yeah, well, 310 and 39 is the same thing.
They're not.
How they're not?
Well, there
the
must
same
have been different lights. But let me do this. Let me get the officer and let me find out. Okay. But
Okay.
I don't know if on your trailer were your taillights operating properly.
Yes.
Okay, well, obviously they're saying they weren't. So let me get the officer to find out, but that's why you have those two charges. The more serious charges are the tag charges. You understand that?
Yeah. Well, the thing about the trailer light, he didn't give me to punch the brakes in order to find out if they were working or not.
Okay, well, you will get a chance to say all of that during the trial. Do you understand that?
I caught COVID from that officer anyway. Yeah, but that's good.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you caught COVID, but let's deal with these tickets, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Your Honor.
Yeah, let's you and I deal with these tickets.
Okay.
And what I was trying to do was to make sure that you understood what the nature of the tickets were, okay? Because it was obvious to me that you did not understand them. So you do understand that if you put the trailer tag on your car, that's going to be the issuance of 3 different tag violations. That's why you received those 3 tag violations. Do you understand that?
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, the tail light violations, that's something that's just totally different, but I just wanted you to know you have a total of 5 different tickets. Do you understand that?
Yeah. So 7, 8, and 11 basically are the 3 tickets you're talking about.
Those all relate to the tag. So if you put another vehicle's tag on your car, that you're going to get those 3 charges. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So for those 3, for the tag charges, what is your plea to the tag charges? It sounds like you had entered a guilty plea to some and a not guilty plea to others. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll hold your case for a trial momentarily, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to just turn your device to mute, and when I tell you the officer is ready to try your case, you will unmute your car. You will unmute your device. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Have you typed your name and your email address in the chat?
I don't know how to do that.
Well, why don't you give us your email address? What is your email address?
It's G as in golf, E as in Edward, A as in Alpha, C as in Charlie, H as in Henry, I as in Intel, E as in Edward, M as in Mike at yahoo.com.
Okay. That looks like it's GEACHIEM at yahoo.com. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We have your information. Turn your device to mute. We'll be right back with you. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Next is Natoya Ruff. Just unmute your device, young lady.
Hello,
How are you doing, Ms. Ruff?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing very well. It looks like you have 1 charge of failure to yield. What is your plea to that? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
It's not guilty.
Okay. All right.
I,
Let me just tell you, I'm just trying to get everybody's plea to determine which
Okay.
ones will be a trial. So I'm gonna ask you to you can mute your device back now, and when the prosecutor calls the case for trial, we'll deal with it then, okay?
yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. No problem. Next is Javon Bivens. Mr. Bivens, turn your video on, sir.
I'm not a sir, I'm a ma'am.
All right, Ma'am, I'm sorry. Turn your video on.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Bivens, you're charged with a loitering charge. What is your plea to that? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
No, not guilty.
All right, and you're also charged with an obstruction charge. What is your plea to that? Guilty, not guilty, or nolo contendere?
Not guilty.
Okay, thank you. We will call your case for trial momentarily, all right? Thank you. Please type your name and your email address in the chat if you've not already done so. All right, that looks like that takes care of everyone that is in the chat.
Nah, I didn't. Y'all ain't call my name.
All right, Miss Pina?
Yeah.
You are charged. Let me get you to turn your video on. We cannot engage in court. Young lady, I'm gonna need for you to sit up. Please understand that you are in a court setting, okay? Can you please remove your hood from your head? Thank you. You are charged. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat, Ms. Pena?
I did.
All right, you're charged with an expired tag charge. What is your plea to that? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Not guilty.
All right, do you have proof that there was a valid tag on the car at the date and time that they stopped you?
No, because the car went in my car.
You do understand that if you were operating the car, you can be charged.
Well, yeah, I guess so, because that's
Okay.
what's happening right
All
now.
right, well, we'll put you down for not guilty, young lady, and we will call your case momentarily for trial. If you will please mute your device, we will let you know when your case will be called for trial, and thank you. Does that take care of everyone that is in virtual court? Ms. Pena, leave your video on at all times, young lady.
Your Honor, what have you handled Holston and Mims?
I have handled Holston. I haven't gotten to Mims. Let me find Mims. All right. Terrence Mims. All right. Terrence Mims. All right, this case.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Let me have you to turn your video on, sir.
I'm trying to do that.
You can log out and log back in if you're having problems, but we cannot conduct court without your video. Your video is not on.
Okay.
All right, that takes care of everyone in the queue except for Mr. Mims. We'll wait on him to log back in. Do we have an announcement of the people in the courtroom, what their pleas are?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, if you'll tell me who's in the courtroom, I can kind of go down the docket accordingly.
Okay, so,
So is Michael DeVault in the courtroom?
yes,
All right, what is his plea to the expired tag charge?
sir, what's your plea? Sir,
What's your plea? Oh, he wanted to speak to the solicitor.
Your Honor, he's hearing impaired.
Okay, why don't we call Mr. DeVault up a little later, okay?
I'm sorry, what, sir?
Mr. DeVault,
Yes, sir.
you were charged with operating a vehicle that did not have a valid tag. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
What is your plea to that? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere, sir?
I was gonna ask to talk to the solicitor. Because I got another ticket was the same charge. And I was gonna see if I could do both of them at the same time. I think I was scheduled next Wednesday, but I
All right.
didn't.
Well, that is something, we will see if Ms. Green, can we pull his other ticket and resolve both at the same time?
Yes, Your Honor, we
Yeah, I
gotta,
was trying to.
All right, so Mr. DeVault, let me have them to go pull that ticket, and once they've gotten both of them, we will resolve both tickets. Are you entering a guilty plea or a nolo plea to both tickets, or are you entering a not guilty plea?
Well, I'm guilty, but I mean, I just bought the vehicle. I never got the tag, but so.
Do you have your bill of sale with you showing when you bought the
I
vehicle?
misplaced all my papers. That's why I was trying to do it at the same time.
Well, if you don't have papers showing when you purchased the vehicle, and if you were not within the statutory time, I can tell you the fine for each violation is $165. Do you understand that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So you can decide, do you want me to have them to pull that ticket, or do you want to just deal with this one today and come back and deal with the other one next week?
Well, I'd like to get them both together, I guess.
Okay, I'll have them to pull the other ticket, sir, and we'll call you back up here, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. The next person is Terrence Flowers. Is Terrence Flowers in court?
Terrence Flowers? No, Your Honor.
All right, that is FTA on Terrence Flowers. It is now 8:33. Terrence Flowers is not in the queue, nor is he present in court. The next is Tashana Gay or Diamond Gay.
Diamond Gay? No, Your Honor.
That is FTA on Ms. Gay as well. Next is Barry Martin.
He's here, Your Honor.
Will you ask Mr. Martin what is his plea to the failure to yield charge?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
All right, his matter will be called for trial. Mr. Terrence Mims, we're waiting on him to log back in. Next is Javanzia Parrish.
Ms. Parrish? FTA, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Parrish is FTA. We've already spoken with Ms. Pena. She's entered a not guilty plea. Ms. Ruff, not guilty. Rodney Smith, not guilty. Next is James Tarver.
Do we have a James Tarver? What's your plea, sir, to following too close? He said not guilty, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And we have a witness here for him as well.
Wonderful. We'll call that case for trial momentarily. And then lastly, we should have is Deja Walker.
We have another one, Vila Ariello.
Okay, I didn't have any. Okay, maybe it's just the way my docket printed. Okay, Villa
Villa Arreola Maro Alexis.
No one here.
not in the queue nor impressed in court. That is FTA. Can you
Your
announce
Honor.
one more time, Miss Ida?
Yes. Villa Arriola Maro Alexis está presente, por favor, déjenos saber.
All right, that will be FTA for that gentleman. Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
You can be excused.
Thank you.
Next,
We need someone to interpret for a witness.
Oh,
Okay,
and what
thank you.
case is that?
This is, give me 1 second.
For, Ruff.
Ruff. We have a witness here.
so they will need some interpreting services, Miss Ida.
Okay. Is it
All right.
possible to call that case, Your Honor?
Let me finish my calendar.
Okay.
Thank you. Deja Walker.
FTA, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. We have gone through the entire docket. I have not heard back from Terrence Tim. It looks like we have one case that has interpreting services. Ms. Ida, we will see. Mr. Prosecutor, you want to call that matter first? And what is the offender's name?
Yes, Your Honor. It is Latoya Ruff. Is the
All right, Ms. Ruff.
Yes, this is me.
All right, Ms. Ruff, it looks like you've been charged with failure to yield, which I don't have the paperwork in front of me, so I'm gonna swear everybody in so that I can get some understanding as to what took place, okay?
Yes, sir.
If I can have you to raise your right hand as well as the witness.
El testigo, por favor, levante la mano derecha. ¿Cuál es el nombre del testigo? What's the witness's name?
He's right here.
Okay, ¿cuál es su nombre, señor?
Agustín Germán Soriano Pacheco.
Agustín Germán.
Soriano Pacheco.
Ok. Gracias. Yo lo estaré interpretando. Asegúrese de que espere de que yo interprete y después usted contesta, por favor.
Está bien.
Ok. Go ahead, Your Honor. Levante su mano derecha.
Everyone that's going to testify, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give
¿Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que va a presentar
is true to the best of your information and belief?
es la verdad según lo que usted conoce y cree?
If so, say I do.
Si así es, diga
I do.
yo sí. Diga sí o no.
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Ruff, because the city has the burden of proof, they will present their case first. You will have an opportunity to question every witness, and then once the city has rested its case, you will have an opportunity to present your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, you
Okay.
can put your hand down, young lady. Everyone can put their hand down.
Puede bajar
I
la
have
mano.
one question.
What is your question, Ms. Ruff?
Is my witness on? Because my witness is on here too, Brittany Lane.
Okay, is Miss Brittany Lane on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Yep, Miss Lane is on here as well, all right? Miss Lane, were you in the vehicle with Miss Ruff or were you in a separate vehicle?
I was in a separate vehicle.
All right, where were you? Were you in a vehicle behind her, in front of her?
Neither. I
Okay.
was actually on the street, myself and the person next to me. We were letting her out of the parking lot that she was coming from out of.
Okay, thank you. All right,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Prosecutor, you want to go ahead and call the case? And Ms. Lane, let me have you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Prosecutor, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. It appears that on November 9th of 2022, Ms. Ruff received a citation for failure to yield. Officer Ramos is the officer who issued that citation. Of course, this was an accident. He was dispatched to that location, so we don't need testimony from the officer. We do have the driver of the other vehicle who is present, Mr. Pacheco. I'm sorry.
That's okay, no, I can interpret all that. Esto ocurrió el 9 de noviembre del 2022, hubo un accidente, y el agente Ramos fue el que acudió para ya hacer el informe, pero no lo necesitamos porque él no lo vio, así que tenemos a las personas presentes. Está usted, señor Pacheco, que es el conductor del otro vehículo, y está otra, la señora, que la otra señora conductora del otro vehículo, y está otra testigo que la señora trajo, ¿ok?
Está bien.
Mr. Pacheco, on the date in question, were you involved in a motor vehicle accident with Ms. Ruff?
Señor Pacheco, el día que mencionamos, esa fecha que mencionamos, usted tuvo un accidente donde estaba involucrada la señora Roth.
Sí.
Yes.
And could you state to the court briefly how that accident occurred?
Y usted le puede decir al juez brevemente cómo ocurrió ese accidente y asegúrese de hacer pausas para yo poder interpretar, señor Pacheco. Dele, pues.
La señora salió del gasolín, cruzó 2 carriles y me impactó.
The lady came out of the gas station. She used both lanes and then she crashed onto me.
And in what lane were you traveling in?
¿En qué carril estaba usted manejando? ¿Iba usted manejando? ¿En qué carril estaba?
Vive en el carril del centro para dar vuelta a la Forest Parkway.
I was in the center lane to turn into Forest Park Drive. Forest Park Lane, I'm sorry.
Was that turn going to be a left or a right?
Ese giro que usted iba a hacer, iba a ser a la izquierda o a la derecha?
La izquierda.
A left.
Okay. And upon the impact, did you call the Forest Park Police Department or did somebody else?
Y cuando ocurrió el impacto, ¿usted llamó al departamento de policía de Forest Park o lo llamó otra persona?
Lo llamó otra persona.
Another person made the call.
When the police officer arrived, were you still in the roadway or had you moved the vehicles to the side?
Cuando la policía llegó al sitio, ¿usted todavía estaba ahí donde ocurrió el impacto o hayan movido los vehículos al lado?
No, todavía estaba ahí.
No, we were still there.
And were you able to give your statement to Officer Ramos directly?
¿Y usted le pudo dar su declaración de lo que pasó al agente Ramos usted mismo directamente?
No, intérprete.
I needed an interpreter.
Did somebody from the police department interpret for you or did you have somebody else that was able to do it for you?
¿Alguien del departamento de policía le interpretó a usted o usted tuvo otra persona con usted que le interpretó para que le dijera eso al señor Ramos, al agente Ramos?
Otra persona.
Another person.
No further questions for this witness, Judge.
Okay,
Let me
no
just
tiene
ask him,
pregunta.
ask him where was the damage to his vehicle?
¿Dónde tuvo el daño su vehículo? ¿En qué parte le dañaron el vehículo?
En la parte derecha.
On the right side.
On the passenger side, front, middle, or rear of his vehicle?
En el lado del pasajero, pero en el frente, a mitad, o sea, en el medio o atrás.
Enfrente.
On the front.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Ruff, you have the right to ask this gentleman questions if you'd like to, of course, because there's an interpreter. Ask the question, let her interpret it, and then let him answer, and then she will give you the answer in English. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have any questions you'd like to ask this gentleman?
I do. He stated he was making a left-hand turn on Forest Parkway. Matter of fact, no, it's not for him because he wouldn't be able to answer that question. That would be for you guys, not him.
Well, you won't be able to ask the court any questions because, of course, we
Okay.
weren't there, okay?
Okay,
You need to ask the
so
people that were there. Even
okay,
if you want
well,
to ask your witness that question, you can do that.
okay,
Yeah.
not a problem. I can do that. Can I ask my witness? I've never done this before. I'm
That's okay.
sorry. Do
Let
I
me
ask
just
my
say,
witness
if
question
you
now?
have no questions of this witness, just say, Judge, I have no questions of this witness.
Just all right. Just one question. Did he Did he not see my vehicle? Did he not see me outside in the lane?
Now, you
When
know
he
that's two questions. So let's ask the question this way. Did you see my vehicle?
Yes. Did you see my vehicle?
Okay.
¿Usted vio mi vehículo? Le está preguntando la señorita.
No.
No.
Okay. He said no. Do you have any other questions?
Not for him.
Okay. All right. Does the city have any other evidence?
City has no other evidence, Judge. So
All
you're
right,
resting.
Ms. Ruff, the city has rested. You can either let Ms. Lane testify first or you can testify first, okay?
All right. I
What
mean,
is your preference?
I'll go first, and Miss Lane can go with it after me or whatnot. But I would
Well,
like this.
she will go after you and the prosecutor has the right to ask both of you all questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, on the day in question, I was coming out of the racetrack, which is located at least maybe about 1,000 feet away from the light. It's right before the McDonald's on Forest Parkway in Old Dixie. I was coming out of coming out to make a left-hand turn. The light turned red at Forest Park, which was a ways up. Two cars, I saw a black Camaro and another blue car that was, parallel to me. They stopped to allow me to come out. I came out, looked both ways, got into the middle lane to where literally 3 of my 4 tires were in the middle lane. I had to stop because the traffic light, for the oncoming traffic going down Forest Parkway, that light was turning, their light was green to turn left. So I had to wait for them to pass by for me to go out. So as I was waiting, I'm looking to my right to see the cars to make sure I have clear leeway to go ahead and complete my turn. Next thing I know, I was impacted really hard, like severely hard in my corner driver side light panel in the front of my car.
So the impact of your car is the front driver side and the impact of his car is the front passenger side.
Correct. Our headlights were literally my corner headlight was stuck into the the corner part of his car. They had to pull us apart because basically he hit me so hard because I was sitting still. I wasn't even
Let me
moving.
just ask you, and all this happened on Forest Parkway?
Yes, Forest Parkway, right there. It literally coming out of the racetrack entrance, way before the McDonald's, way before the
Before you
light.
get to Dixie Lakes?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir.
All right, does the prosecutor have any questions?
I do, Your Honor. So, Ms. Ruff, according to your testimony, you said that the damage to your vehicle was at the front driver's side. You're talking about near the headlight.
Yes, it was literally the headlight. If my headlight was stuck into the grill part of the front, not the grill, like the corner part of his car. I wish I was able to submit my photos because I have photos of the accident scene, both vehicles and everything where the damages are.
Okay. Did you ever get a copy of the police report?
Yes, sir. And once I received the police report, because before I left, I also asked why, when I got out of the ambulance, why no one took my statement. He was saying he didn't need a statement and stuff like that. But once I did get the police report, it stated that I made a statement, but I never made a statement because if I did, I would have given him my witness information.
Okay, so the reason I asked you that is because I'm referring back to the police report where the police officer wrote after viewing the damage that driver 2, Mr. Pacheco's vehicle was impacted on the passenger side front end. So you said in your testimony, though, that you had 3 tires of your car in the middle lane. Why was it that you and Mr. Pacheco basically hit at the front ends of your car? If he hit you, if you were already in the lane, would he not have impacted you on the side of your car?
No, sir. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if like we're coming out, they're parallel to me. I'm coming out to come around to, you know, swoop into the middle median turning lane. So I literally got all the way there. It was other cars on the other side of me. So I couldn't completely turn all the way into the lane. That's why I was paused.
So you were straddled between two lanes.
So like my car was at a slant. Yes, I was literally like the backside of one of my tires was in the lane right next to the turning lane.
No further questions.
Over 3/4 of my car was inside of the lane, pretty much.
All right. All right. Ms. Ruff, the prosecutor has no further questions. Would you like for Ms. Lane to testify?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Lane, Ms. Ruff, you get to ask Ms. Lane questions. So Ms. Lane, if you will unmute your device, Ms. Ruff, go ahead and ask her whatever questions you'd like to ask her.
All right. Good morning, Miss Lane. I just wanted to basically ask you, when you allowed me to come out, did you see what actually took place once you gave me the right of way to come out of the parking lot?
I did. Myself and the person next to me.
If you could please.
Ms. Smith, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, you're in court. Can't eat breakfast, dude, okay? All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so once the light became red, myself and the car next to me kind of stopped in front of where the racetrack is in order to let her out. She came out. She got most of her car out to be able to turn into the lane where we were in order for her to get in front of us. But at some point, the traffic stopped. The traffic stopped, and out of nowhere, the gentleman that spoke first came flying from behind us. The car next to me was blowing the horn. I don't know if he was blowing the horn at her or at him so he could stop before hitting her, but that didn't help. Okay. So he came from behind us and he hit her head on.
Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any questions?
I do. Ms. Lane, you said that you had stopped your vehicle to allow Ms. Ruff to enter into, was it your lane that she was entering into?
She wasn't entering into my lane. She was entering into the lane closer to the turning lane. I was in the far right lane.
So she was crossing over your lane.
There's two lanes when coming out of the, she was crossing over from the turning lane into the two lanes where myself and the traffic was.
Okay. And
so at the end of where the gas station was, once the light turned, we stopped.
You said that the light was red at the time. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you see Mr. Pacheco move from behind you and get into the other lane?
I didn't. The only thing we seen was when he came from behind and he hit her. So I never saw exactly where he came from because it all happened so quick.
Okay, so you don't, because I believe your statement earlier was that he came from behind you and got into the other lane and hit her.
Yes.
Okay. Did you see him?
No, I never said he came from behind me. No, I just seen him come from behind and hit her. I never seen what lane he came from or in what direction he came from.
So you don't know if he's already...
We were all at the light still.
So you don't know if he was already established in that
again,
lane, is that correct? I said, so you don't know if he was already established in that lane where impact occurred.
What do you mean as far as do I know if...
Well, your statement was that you didn't see him.
I don't know whether if I don't know if it's my end, but you're breaking up. Can you please repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me better?
I can.
Okay. believe your statement was that you did not see him behind you, directly behind you. Is that an accurate portrayal of your statement?
You mean as far as seeing him directly behind me, being that he's one of the cars that's parked as far as like the next person behind me, or he came from somewhere else or in that lane behind me?
Okay, so let me ask the question this way. Do you know if Mr. Pacheco's vehicle was in the lane, anywhere in the lane behind you?
In my direct lane?
Correct.
He came from behind, I don't know if it was cars behind me. I don't know if he was in the lane behind me. He came from behind me. He wasn't on side of me when we stopped. He wasn't in that lane when we stopped.
Again, I'm asking you this question, and it's just a simple yes or no. Do you know if he was in the lane behind you?
I can't answer that because if you're saying the lane behind me. I'm in the far right lane. He wasn't the car directly behind me, no.
Did you see him exit from the lane that you were in?
No.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
All right. Ms. Ruff, do you have any other questions you'd like to ask Ms. Lane?
Yes.
All right, what is your question?
When I came out, was that middle lane occupied at any point in time before I came out to attempt my turn?
There wasn't anyone in the middle lane, only in the lane that I was in and the lane next to me. No one was in the turning lane.
Ms. Ruff, any other questions?
Yep, that's the only question that I have.
All right, does the prosecutor have any additional questions?
No additional questions, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ruff, do you rest your case, or is there any other evidence you'd like to introduce?
I mean, I have photos, but I don't know how to.
If you have photos,
because when I was trying to send them on the email.
Yeah, if you have photos.
Yeah, they said they were too large to upload.
All right, well, you can do a couple of things. If you have photos, you can screen share them. So we're in Zoom, you have the capability of screen sharing anything you'd like to. So you can either screen share the photos or you go to the screen share button down at the bottom, click on it, go to where the photos are, and they will screen share. Let me just say this. Having just learned screen share about 6 months ago, I don't know that you're going to be able to effectively do that in this.
That's why I say, yeah, I don't think so either.
So,
because I don't know how to do it.
All right. Well, you can email your photos later. They're not going to be part of this proceeding, but I will place them in the file. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all right. Yeah. Is there any more witness testimony or any other evidence you'd like to introduce?
No, sir.
All right. Do you rest your case?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Ruff, you've been charged with the offense of failure to yield. And basically what that offense says is anytime someone is traveling down the road, they have the dominant right. And if you're pulling out from a private area or a private drive, such as a racetrack, even if someone in the public tells you you can pull out, it's still your responsibility to look for oncoming traffic. And that's why you received this citation. Based on the evidence that the court has heard from evidence, Ms. Ruff, the court does find you guilty of the violation. There will be no imposition of a fine. I'll let the insurance companies resolve this matter. You understand that? But you were found guilty of the violation.
I do, but wow.
Your Honor, may I inform Mr. Pacheco of the result of the
Please inform him that she was found guilty. There will be no fine imposed.
Okay, señor Pacheco, después que dijeron todo el testimonio, el juez determinó que la señorita era culpable, pero no le puso una multa, pero sí determinó que ella era culpable del cargo de no ceder el paso.
Tell him that he is free to go. Ms. Lane, thank you for your testimony. Ms. Ruff, you will receive your the disposition of this case through the mail. Of course, if you're dissatisfied with the ruling, you do have the right to appeal this decision to a higher court. Until the higher court has modified this ruling, the ruling of this court stands.
Ok, señor Pacheco, ya se puede retirar porque ya no necesitan más el testimonio. Ya usted dio su testimonio. Gracias por venir.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Ms. Lane, thank you for your testimony. Ms. Ruff, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
You all can disengage.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
You can, if for some reason we need some more interpreting services for whatever reason, are you available or someone on your staff's available?
Yes, yes. Is there anybody that needs an interpreter right now?
Well, I don't know. I just want to be sure that we don't have the issue come up. So I just want to
Yes.
be sure. I don't know right now.
Oh, okay, Your Honor.
So they'll reach back out to you if they need any further interpreting services. Okay.
Sure, sure. I'll
Okay,
be
then.
here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Mr. Prosecutor, that takes care of the, let me get to Mr. Terrence Mims. Mr. Mims, unmute your device, sir. Terrence Mims. Turn your video on, Mr. Mims.
That's all.
All right, Mr. Mims, what is the state of driving a vehicle that did not have insurance at the time of the stop? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Not guilty.
All right, we will call your case momentarily for trial. You do understand, sir, that is a suspendable offense. Are you able to show that there was valid insurance on the car at the date and time of the stop?
Yes, sir. I submitted it to the
Where is
email.
that information? Where is that information?
Actually, I have it right now, and I can show it on screen share if you want.
All right, well, what they need to be able to verify it. So let me have you to email it to the court.
Okay,
Now,
I do.
so that they can verify it. Can we give him an email address, or can you all type it in the chat? Mr. Mims, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Forgive me, Your Honor. I'm very new to this, so I'm doing that
Where
now.
are you? Are you in the parking lot of the courthouse?
No, sir. I'm in the parking lot of my apartment.
Okay, well, you're going to need to get this information to the court. So they will give you the email address. And how can we send him the email address, Ms. Green?
I just sent it to him directly in the chat.
All right, you need to send that your information back to them so they can verify whether there was insurance. So please stay on the line, okay?
Okay, I'm doing that right now, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Then, Mr. Prosecutor, we can start going with the other trials. The first one, I guess, would be Javon Bivens, unless you have some matters you'd like to call, sir.
No, sir. We can start with Javon Bivens.
All right, Javon Bivens. She answered not guilty earlier.
Give me a second, Your Honor. She's actually sitting in the waiting room. She must have been disconnected.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna take a 1-minute break. I'll be right back.
You still have a
All right, Mr. Prosecutor. Mr. Prosecutor.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Bivens has entered a not guilty plea to the loitering and the obstruction charge. Is the city ready to go forward with this case?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We have Officer Edwards on the line.
All right, Ms. Bivens and Officer Edwards, let me have you to please both raise your right hand. I can't see you right. All right, Ms. Bivens. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say, I do.
I do.
All right, Ms. Bivens, have you typed your full name and your email address in the chat?
Yes, sir.
All right, do we have Ms. Bivens' information?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Prosecutor, you want to go ahead and proceed with the trial?
Yes, Your Honor. On or about May 6th of 2023, Ms. Bivens was issued 2 citations, one for loitering and prowling, the other one for obstructing an officer. Officer Edwards issued both of those citations. Officer Edwards, on the date in question, you have an opportunity to come in contact with Ms. Bivens?
I did.
And was that contact within the city limits of Forest Park?
Yes, it was.
Can you briefly state the nature of that contact?
We received a phone call from the Economy Hotel on Falcon Drive in reference to a female that was there on property that was issued a criminal trespass warning on a previous date that was there causing a disturbance.
You're on mute, Mr. Prosecutor.
I'm sorry, Officer Edwards, during your conversation, in your investigation, you came in contact with Ms. Bivens?
Yes.
All right, and as you investigated it, you determined that the location where she was at, she was not legally authorized to be there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And was the location a business location?
Yes, it was a hotel.
All right. And I know that hotels are 24 hours, so it wasn't an issue of the her presence after business hours, but she did not have a room or was staying with anybody at that location, as far as you know, correct?
Correct.
All right. In reference to the obstruction of an officer charge, that was based on what information?
When we went to identify her, she refused to provide us with any kind of information, either her name, date of birth, or anything. She told us to basically figure it out.
Okay. And eventually you were able to look to get her correct identity. Is that an accurate statement?
Correct.
All right. No further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Bivens, you can ask this officer questions regarding his testimony, ma'am.
Officer, when you pulled up, I was having a seizure. I was sitting on the corner of the business, and I did give you my birthday. That's how you got it. I told you my name was Jay because, of course, you wasn't going to be able to pronounce my name.
So
I gave you my
Ms. Bivens, let me tell you, this is Ms. Bivens. This is where you ask questions. You're not testifying.
I'm sorry.
Right now.
I'm sorry, officer. Did I?
Questions.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Officer, didn't I give you my birthday?
Not when I first asked
you. Officer, wasn't I having a seizure?
No.
Do you know what a seizure is, officer?
I know what it looks like.
There are 2 types of seizure. Do you know there's 2 types of seizures?
I know you were still able to answer the questions that you was asking me.
No, I wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm not testifying.
Ms. Bivens, that's right. You will have a chance to testify, but now is not.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm trying to ask questions.
Go ahead and ask your question.
I'm trying to put in a question form. I'm sorry. Officer, when you pulled up to the scene, I asked you, did I need to keep walking or?
No, I advised you that you was being detained at that time for the investigation.
You were the second or third officer to pull it. I'm sorry. I don't have no more questions for him, I guess, because I can't put my questions.
All right, so you have no other questions, Ms. Bivens?
He's lying like a fool.
Ms. Bivens. Ms. Bivens,
Yes, sir.
please don't do anything that's gonna get you held in contempt of court. I'm gonna strike your last statement. Please keep that to yourself, even if you believe it. Do you understand that? Do you have any more questions?
No.
All right. Does the city rest?
City arrest, Your Honor.
All right, now, Ms. Bivens, you can tell me in narrative format what happened.
On a day in question, I was walking and I sat down because I was in the middle of a seizure. When the first officer pulled up, she pulled up on the scene and said they got a call about a criminal trespassing about a lady in the area. Then he came, I don't know which one of them came first, I'm sorry. And I was in the middle of an attack. I asked them, did I need to keep walking or is it okay if I sat down for a second to gather myself? They was trying to figure out what my name was. I did give them J and my correct birthday. That's how they got the rest of my identification and everything else. Lauteren is prowling around a certain area at a certain area at a time. I was sitting down on the curb for a second to gather my breath because if I walk too long, I will pass out while having an attack.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir.
All right. The prosecutor may or may not have questions. Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any questions, sir?
Just briefly, Judge, and Ms. Bivens, you said that you were walking around. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from on the other KOD.
What is that?
It's on the other side of the Economy Lodge.
Okay. But what is it? Identify. You said KOD. What is it? Is it a store? Is it a business?
It's a club.
Okay. And you were headed to, where were you going?
I was headed back around the curb towards Clorox when they stopped me.
You said that you were having an attack and you were coming from the club. Why didn't you go back to the club? Was it still open?
I was coming from the side around the club.
So you weren't actually at the club?
No, sir.
Right. Do you recall what time of the day this was?
I don't recall the time. I can't remember nothing from that day but certain pictures. That's what happens when I have seizures. Even when I got to Clayton County Jail, I was still having an attack.
So was the club open? Because the ticket that was issued was at 9:04 at night.
No, the club was not open quite yet.
Okay.
They was getting ready for it.
Did you have plans on attending the club?
Yes, sir.
And you said they were getting ready for it, so you knew people were at the club.
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to ask the question again. If you were having an attack, why didn't you go to the club where you knew people were there?
Because I was already walking in a certain direction when I started having my attack.
Okay. And when you were walking in that direction, where were you going?
Back to my house.
Okay. And so you stopped in front of the club, I'm sorry, in front of the hotel. Is that correct?
I stopped not in front of the hotel. I was away from the hotel when they pulled up on me.
All right. And so when the officer made contact with you, why didn't you give him any information?
I gave him my birthday and I told him my name. I didn't give him my full name, Javon. I told him my name was Jay, which is the name I go by.
But
I did give him my correct birthday.
And if an officer asked for your name, you just believe that you can just give the first name.
My first name, I was giving him my name. I gave him J Bivens. He said that's not your name. Is what the problem was.
Okay, no further questions, Judge.
All right, does the city have, well, I think the city You had already rested. Ms. Bivens, is there any other testimony that you want to provide, or have you rested as well?
I rest.
All right. Ms. Bivens, you've been charged with the offense of loitering and the offense of obstruction. On the offense of loitering, the court finds you not guilty of that violation. Do you understand that, young lady?
Yes.
On the charge of obstruction, the court finds you guilty of the obstruction charge. The fine amount is $410. Are you able to satisfy that in 2 weeks, or do you need to be placed on probation to pay that?
Placed on probation.
All right, you will be placed on probation for 6 months to pay the sum of $410. While you are on probation, the trespass regarding that hotel is in place. So please make sure that you're not upon the property or premises of that hotel. We're going to need for you to report to probation. They will provide you with the probation information, but please check in with the court no later than close of business tomorrow. Do we have Ms. Bivens? I think we said we did have her email address. Is that correct?
Can you confirm that, Ms. Bivens? I don't see it.
All right, Ms. Bivens, if you'll please just state your email address.
javonbivens@gmail.com.
Excuse me, repeat it again. J what?
javonbivens@gmail.com.
javonbivens@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, you will get your plea form by close of business tomorrow. Enter a not guilty plea. You will also get your criminal disposition form and your probation information. Reach out to probation immediately. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, thank you, young lady. You can disengage from the call.
Thank you.
All right. The next person for trial will be Royal Cobb.
Judge, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Can we get DeMonte Host and Officer Simmons needs to be off the Zoom here shortly.
All right. If you want to call that matter next, that's fine.
Thank you. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. DeMonte Holston.
Yes.
You just called my name.
All right, Ms. Crute, Ms. Cobb, we will come to you right after we finish up with Ms. Holston, Mr. Holston.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. You can mute. Mr. Mims, let me have you to mute your device as well. All right, Mr. Holston, if you will unmute your device.
Yes,
let me
sir.
have Officer Simmons and Mr. Holston to both raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, Mr. Mims, Terrence Mims, please mute your device, sir. All right, go ahead, Mr. Prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Holston is before the court because on January 2nd of 2023, he received a citation for disregarding railroad crossing barrier. Officer Simmons issued that citation. Officer Simmons, on the date in question, you have an opportunity to come in contact with Mr. Holston.
I did.
And was that contact within the city limits of Forest Park?
It was.
Can you briefly state the nature of that contact?
Yes. I was conducting traffic in the area, and as I was passing by, I observed him traveling northbound on Hill Road. The railroad arms were down, and he went through the railroad arms to gain access to Main Street.
Okay, and so at some point, well, so when you arrived, he was stuck at that railroad crossing, is that correct?
Yes, he was passing. He went through the railroad crossing. So the arms were down, but there's a space in between the arms. So he went from the left, crossed over the railroad tracks, and then around the other arm on the opposite side, closest to Main Street.
Okay, and you observed this maneuver?
I did.
Okay, no further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Holston, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Officer Simmons?
No, Your Honor.
All right, does the city have any other evidence?
No other evidence, Judge.
All right, Mr. Holston, you have the right to now present evidence. You can testify if you have witnesses or documents. You can introduce those at this time. Sir, would you like to testify?
Yes, I would.
Go ahead.
Right here is my Grady document where I had to go and I had surgery.
This will need to be sent via, you can screen share it or you can send it via email. All right, because I can't see it, but go ahead and testify.
I was in surgery from the 1st to the 4th of the year. I had a fractured jaw, so I was at Grady Hospital for surgery. I didn't get discharged until the 4th.
I'm not understanding what you're saying. Are you saying that you were not the driver of the car and you didn't receive the ticket?
I was not an occupant of that vehicle.
You were, okay, so you were not the driver of the car when this happened?
No, nor was I in that car.
Nor were you in that car, okay? Do you know if someone else was operating your car?
I don't own a car at this moment in time.
I'm not asking you at this moment in time. I'm talking about back in January of 2023, did you own a vehicle?
No.
Okay. So it sounds like, Mr. Prosecutor, he is saying that the officer charged the wrong person. So Officer Simmons could probably help us with that.
Officer Simmons?
And do we have a citation that's signed by Mr. Holston?
Yes.
We have a citation that's signed by somebody. And so if it's Mr. Holston's claiming that's not his citation. So Mr. Holston, you're stating that you did not own a 2007 Lincoln MKX ever?
No. The only car that I owned was a 2004 Honda Accord.
Okay, and so this vehicle was never registered in your name?
No, sir.
Well, that's easy enough to find out, Judge.
Has he taken out a false ID charge? Have you taken out a false ID charge regarding this ticket, sir?
When I got to court, that's why I pled not guilty. The day that I went to court, I literally had just, because even when I missed, I had to
No,
go.
Mr. Holston, listen to what I'm asking you. Someone got a ticket in your name. I'm asking you, have you gone to the police and taken out a false identification charge?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, let's stop. That's what I needed to know. That's what we do need to do. Officer Simmons, did you happen to get a body cam photo of the person that you issued this citation to?
My body cam was activated during the traffic stop.
You said it was activated?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then why don't we continue this hearing? Mr. Holston, you need to go to the Forest Park Police Department and take out a false identification charge. Officer Simmons will get us a copy of the body cam so that we can verify who was the individual that received this ticket. If it was you, of course, there will be a separate perjury charge. If it was not you, this charge will be dismissed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Can I submit since I got to go over, can I submit these?
You can bring, yes, when you come down to the courthouse, you can bring all of that. But at this point, if you're saying this was not you, I want to see who this ticket was issued to. And it's very easy for us to find that out because there's a body cam. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so when you come down, you can bring your paperwork. Go there, take out a false ID. We're going to reschedule this hearing. We will then have the body cam, be able to determine if it was you or not. If it was you, I just wanted to make you aware that there will be another charge of perjury. If it is not you, then this charge will be dismissed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, Ms. Green, do we have Mr. Holston's information?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right, we're going to put this down as a case of false ID for right now. And we will get the body cam. We'll let the prosecutor look at that and he will let me know how his office wants to proceed.
Thank you.
All right, Officer Simmons, if that's your only matter, you are excused. Mr. Holston, if you've typed all your information in the chat, do we have his information?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then Mr. Holston, you're excused as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next, let's go back to Royal Cobb.
Here.
All right, Mr. Prosecutor, you're ready to proceed with the matter regarding Ms. Cobb?
Yes, Your Honor, Officer Dawes is on the line.
All right, everyone that's going to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or right hand, Ms. Cobb?
Say it again.
Raise your right hand.
Oh, my bad.
Judge, I'm sorry, hold on one second. There is a witness on this. If I can announce for Shawana Kelly.
No one in
Miss-
the courtroom.
Nobody in the courtroom? So, Your Honor, it looks like Officer Dawes actually was dispatched to the scene of an accident. And so the witness is not on Zoom or in person in the courtroom. The only citation that was issued was improper backing. So the city would move to dismiss for want of prosecution.
All right, Ms. Cobb, it looks like the other person involved in this incident is not present, so the city is dismissing this case for warrant of prosecution. Do you understand that, young lady?
I believe so. Can you explain? Anyway?
Dismissing for warrant of prosecution simply means that they cannot present the case at this time. They do have the right up to the next 6 months to reinstate the charges if they choose to, but as of right now, the charge stands dismissed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
I have.
All right, do we have Ms. Cobb's information?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, Ms. Cobb, do you have any questions? If not, young lady, you're free to go.
I do not have any questions.
All right, well, thank you so much. You're free to go.
Thank you.
All right.
Officer Dodge, do you have any other matters?
No, sir. Well, my brother has that case with Terrence Flowers, just in case if y'all don't, so y'all won't get mixed up.
Okay. All right. So, Judge, is he free to go?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
All right.
Next,
Thank you.
Next is Barry Martin. Barry Martin.
He's here, Your Honor.
All right. This is Officer Mills.
Okay, Mills is in the lobby. We're gonna bring him forward. And we have a witness as well, Your Honor, in here.
Thank you.
Can we get the witness's name, Ms. Yolanda?
The witness is, I'm sorry,
Richard.
Richard.
Richard
Hill.
Berry Hill.
Is he ready? Judge, we're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Where is Barry Martin? I didn't see him in the screen or in the queue.
He's right here.
Okay, I think you have your video turned off, Miss Yolanda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, everyone that is going to testify, if you'll please, can you please give me the names of the witnesses in this matter?
Richard Berry Hill.
All right, Richard Berry Hill. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Richard Berry Hill, Mr. Barry Martin, and Officer Mills, if you'll all raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do. All right, Mr. Martin, you've entered a not guilty plea to the failure to yield charge. Is that correct, sir? I can't hear you. What did you say?
Sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Mr. Prosecutor, you want to go ahead and proceed with the case?
Yes, Your Honor. On or about December 27th of 2022, Mr. Barry Martin was issued a citation for the failure to yield while entering a crossroad. Officer Mills issued that citation. Officer Mills, on the date in question, do you have an opportunity to come in contact with Mr. Martin?
Yes, this is a reference to a traffic accident, correct?
You were dispatched to that location, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear him.
Yes,
Could
sir.
you step forward, Officer Mills?
Let me make sure my volume is off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. I think he was just too far from the mic. Okay, and so you arrived at the scene and spoke to all of the individuals involved in the accident, is that correct? You located the damage to both vehicles and determined that Mr. Martin was at fault for the accident. Is that an accurate statement? Okay. And you took statements from both individuals. Is that correct? In reference to the statements that you were given, how did the accident occur as far as what you were told?
So,
He needs to step up a little
You
bit
ask
more.
him to please speak up. He needs to speak louder.
all right, so the pickup truck was heading southbound on Old Dixie Road in the center lane. At the same time, the tractor trailer was leaving the racetrack parking lot, attempting to make a left onto Old Dixie Road. So leaving the parking lot, tractor trailer leaving the parking lot. And there was heavy traffic during this time. And the tractor trailer pulled out and they made contact in that center turn lane as the tractor trailer was turning to make a left-hand turn. And as the pickup truck was traveling southbound in that center lane on Old Dixie Road.
And based on that information, it was determined that the charge would be failure to yield, correct, while entering the roadway.
Right.
All right. No further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Martin, do you have any questions you'd like to ask the officer?
No, sir. I got a question for the witness.
You will. He hasn't testified yet. Once he testifies, you then can ask him questions. All right, Mr. Prosecutor would like to call the next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. If we could call Mr. Berryhill. Mr. Berryhill, on the date in question, were you involved in a motor vehicle accident with the gentleman who is standing to your left, Mr. Mills? I'm sorry, Mr. Martin.
Yes, I was.
And could you briefly state how the accident occurred?
Yes, I was coming down Old Dixie in a left-hand lane. Light was green, and I was coming by. I don't think you saw me at all. I don't think the driver, the pickup truck saw me at all. I was about to turn left, and he came on out the racetrack. Hit me up and fell into my truck.
I'm sorry, you said he ran into your truck or you ran into his?
He ran into my truck.
Okay. No further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Martin, do you have any questions you'd like to ask this witness?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Were you trying to make the light?
No.
Well, I mean, you going left, where?
Well, I was slowing down because the light had just turned.
No, I'm saying you was in the turning lane.
You got to let him finish the question, Mr. Martin. So ask the question, then let him respond. Do you understand that? All right, so what is your question, Mr. Martin?
No, I was asking, why was he in the center lane? Why was he in the center lane? Was he trying to make the light?
All right.
I answered that question. No, I was not trying to make the light because the light was already turned red. After you hit me, the light got turned red.
No, were you proceeding to the light to turn at the light?
Yes, that's
okay.
Turning
That's my question.
Yeah.
That's my question.
All right, do you have any other questions?
Okay. No, I got pictures and stuff, but
all right. All right, do you have any other questions of this witness? Mr. Martin, do you have any other questions of Mr. Hill?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, does the city have any other evidence?
No other evidence, Judge. The city rests.
All right, the city has rested, Mr. Martin. Now you can present your case.
Okay. At that light, sir, that is an entrance and an exit. So at that light, there's a split. There's a split in the center lane to let you get over. There's white lines to let you know when it's time to get over. He got over way before the exit to get over. You know what I'm saying? And what he did was illegal. And he has given me a right to exit because that's an entrance and an exit.
Okay. All right, is there anything else you'd like to say, sir?
That's it, sir.
All right, the prosecutor may have some questions for you.
So, Mr. Martin, you were coming from where when you entered into the roadway?
I was exiting the racetrack truck stop.
Okay, and was it your intent to go forward or to go all the way over to get into the lane to turn left?
I was going to go north on Old Dixie.
Okay, all right. And I don't know if was it you or the officer that stated there was kind of heavy traffic at the time?
Yes, there was 2 tractor trailers. They let me exit because the light was red. And they held back to let me exit. And when I exit, Mr. Berryhill comes down the center lane, which there's a split in that center lane up at the light to get over to turn at the light.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Martin, is there any other evidence that you want to introduce, sir?
Yeah, I got pictures.
All right, if you will give those to Ms. Green, do you want to testify to those pictures or do you just want to introduce them?
Well, I got, and then the police report states that he was traveling in the center lane. So I want to enter the police report and the pictures.
Okay. All right. And your issue regarding the center lane, you're saying he entered the center lane too early.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I understand that. Okay. All right. Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Martin, where was the point of impact on your vehicle?
He kind of creased my front bumper.
On the driver or the passenger side?
The front of my truck, like across the front of my bumper.
All right. And Mr. Hill, where was the damage on your vehicle, sir?
The back passenger side of my pickup truck.
The back passenger side. All right. Okay. Okay. I got it. Okay. If there's some pictures you'd like to introduce, Mr. Martin, you can go ahead and do that.
Yes, sir.
If you'll give those to Ms. Green, she will mark those defense exhibits, 1 through whatever they are.
Okay, exhibit 1A, AA1 would be, it's showing where the split is at the light. And that's showing where the traffic gets over at.
Okay.
And then I got another picture. And that's the picture showing where he got over at back here, because this is at the exit. And then this what the police report said.
Yeah, we have a copy.
Okay.
We're gonna run them to the solicitor real quick, Your Honor, 1 second.
All right. I'm gonna give you all a minute to look at that.
Officer Mills seen these? Did the officer see these? I just wanted to verify that this is the location where he.
Yes.
The photographs on that are on there, are they the depiction of the location where you, when the accident occurred, that's where you were dispatched to?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's the same thing. All right, so I have.
Okay. Yeah, so this is all from the exit of the racetrack on Old Dixie Road. So he just, and this is his vehicle right here. He just pulled straight out and he made contact with the vehicle directly. He just comes straight out.
That lane that's closest to the racetrack, when he pulls out of there, does that lane end or does it go forward through the light? So it's, yeah, this lane right here.
Yeah, these two, they go straight through the light.
Okay, okay. And then the far one comes a turning lane.
The center lane right here.
It's a turning lane.
Made contact at.
Okay, okay. All right, so I have no objection to those pictures. Thank you.
All right. Is there any objection from the prosecution regarding the entering of these pictures?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, the 2 pictures that have been introduced by Mr. Martin will come into the record of this case. All right, Mr. Martin, do you rest your case or is there any other testimony you'd like to introduce, sir?
No, I rest my case.
All right, does the prosecution have any other evidence?
No other evidence, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Martin, you've entered a not guilty plea to the failure to yield charge right of way. If you look at the statute, I think the statute is fairly clear, sir. Based on the evidence that the court has heard, the court does find you guilty of this violation. The fine amount is $175. Are you able to satisfy that today, 2 weeks, or do you need to pay this while being on probation?
Pay it today.
All right, sir, you will be directed to the clerk's office momentarily to pay the fine amount of $175 with the understanding that you were found guilty of this violation. Thank you. You're free to go. Mr. Hill, thank you. You're free to go as well. Officer Mills, you're free to go as well. Next will be Terrence Mims. All right, it looks like Mr. Mims is disengaged from the call. Next, I will go to Sasha Pina.
Yes.
And Officer Richard. Everyone that's going to testify, if you'll please raise your right hand. Let's wait on Officer Richard. Everyone that's going to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, you want to go ahead and present, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Pena received a citation on January 7th of 2023 for operating without proper tag or decal. Officer Richard issued that citation. Officer Richard, on the date in question, did you have an opportunity to come in contact with Ms. Pena?
Yes, I did.
And was that contact within the city limits of Forest Park?
Yes, sir.
Can you briefly state the nature of that contact?
Well, made contact with Ms. Pina regarding me checking the status of her vehicle, and the tag return expired. And when I explained that to her, she did tell me that the vehicle did not belong to her, but she was issued a citation for expired tag.
Okay, and so Officer Richard, were you running a tag reader at the time, or was there you were just patrolling the general area?
No, sir, I was on a normal patrol.
Okay.
And I just checked the status of the vehicle through GCIC.
Okay. And it came back not a valid tag, and you said that when you made contact with her, she explained to you that was not her vehicle?
Correct.
All right, no further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Pena, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Officer Richards?
No.
All right, does the city have any other evidence?
No other evidence, Judge.
All right, Ms. Pena, you now have a chance to present your case. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I just feel like I should have got a warning or something. Like, I don't live there. I live in Ohio. So this dragging on is like, bothering me, and it's like putting my license in jeopardy. I don't even live out there. The car wasn't even in my name, and I really didn't even know. I really just borrowed the car so I could, work. I travel for work and stuff, so I'll be in different states. So when she pulled me over, I was confused. And then I told her, like, this ain't my car. It ain't even in my name or none of that. And she asked me for insurance. I provided insurance because I'm not about to, drive a car without no insurance. But when you get insurance, they don't ask you all the extra details. They just ask, is the car in your name? Is the person's car that's in your name? I mean, is it, is they gonna drive the car? They didn't ask me no other questions. I ain't really asked the girl no questions. I was just like, shoot, can I use your car? And she said, yeah. So I just put insurance on it. I drove it. So when she pulled me over and I tried to explain that to her, she still gave me a ticket. I was kind of upset. You feel me? And yeah, so I had to stay in Atlanta longer so I could go to the other court. You know what I'm saying? And then I just left because, like, I don't live there. You feel me? So yeah, that's it.
Does the prosecution have any questions?
Yes, Ms. Pena, you said that you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Ms. Pena, you said that you borrowed the vehicle from somebody. Did you knew that person?
Yeah, I did know that person.
Okay. And you also stated that you put insurance on the vehicle, so you knew that there was no insurance on the vehicle. Is that correct?
Nah, I didn't know when I got it, she sent me a screenshot, but I didn't really look at it, but she told me it was insured. But in the state of Ohio, it don't matter if they got insurance. It matter if you got insurance on the vehicle that you driving. So I put insurance on the car because I was driving the vehicle. I didn't know if she really had insurance or not.
Okay.
I was trying to cover my own self.
Right. So, I mean, and that's great. We seldom have people who would do that. But so my question is, if you took the extra step of making sure that the vehicle was insured in your name, why didn't you check the registration or the tag?
I didn't think to check that because, like I said, I just borrowed the car. So for work, I work in different states. I drove this car from Ohio, Tennessee to Alabama. Georgia was the only one I had a problem with. So I didn't really think about it. I just got in the car, gassed it up, you know, did what I had to. I just put insurance on it. Cause like I said, I'm not from there. I only know the laws where I'm from. So where I'm from, it don't matter whose car it is, you gotta have insurance on it. So I just thought, you know, to put insurance on a car that I was driving, even if it wasn't mine. But I don't have, if the car is not in my name, how am I supposed to get paperwork for it? Is what I was trying to tell the officer when she had pulled me over.
From the person that you borrowed it from.
How I can't get plate. If I'm borrowing a car from somebody and I'm in a whole different state, I didn't even know that the tags was bad. All I did was put insurance on it as soon as that person let me borrow it. And I just drove it. I didn't think nothing else. So I didn't know. So when she pulled me over and informed me, because it took her a minute to even look the car up, I was confused. If I knew, I would have just told her, you feel me? Like you can, you know, watch the video. I don't know if she had a body camera on or anything like that, but I was genuinely confused. She came back to the car multiple times and was like, it's not even popping up in the system. So I didn't know. You feel me? You're gonna, you know, find me for something I didn't know. And I'm telling y'all, genuinely, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to do steps, which was the insurance, but I didn't know about the tags and none of that. That person bought that car off of somebody else from a whole different state. Like we just travel and stuff. So I believe she got paperwork on the car, but I don't believe that she even finished her paperwork on the car. Like after that lady pulled me over, I did start asking questions because I got pissed off because I got a ticket, you know, and I feel like I shouldn't get a ticket if I didn't know.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, Miss Pena, do you rest your case, or is there any other evidence you'd like to present, young lady?
No, sir, that's it.
All right, young lady, you've been charged with expired tag, which is a non-reportable offense here in the state of Georgia. You've entered a not guilty plea. I understand the vehicle did not belong to you. However, as the operator of the vehicle, you can be charged. The court does find you guilty of this violation. Young lady, the fine is $165. Are you able to take care of that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
No, I need a longer period of time.
All right. Then, young lady, you will be placed on probation for 12 months. Your probation will end the moment the fine is paid. If your probation extends beyond 29 days, you will have to start paying monthly probation fees. So try to get this paid within the first 29 days so that you do not have to pay those. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
I did. I got a question. Is that going to y'all sending that in the mail or you sending that through email? Because like I said, I don't live out there.
So your plea form and this information will come through your email.
All right.
All right. Have you provided your email?
Yes, I did that like 2 hours ago.
Okay, Ms. Green, do we have Ms. Pena's information?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then Ms. Pena, you will receive your plea form and your criminal disposition form, as well as your probation information, no later than close of business tomorrow. So you are excused, young lady. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Officer Richards, thank you. Unless you have another matter, you are excused as well. Next
Thank
will
you.
be Rodney Smith. Rodney Smith.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Smith, Mr. Prosecutor, it looks like this is Officer Mills in his case. All right, everyone that's going to testify, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, thank you. You can go ahead and proceed, Mr. Prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about December 27th of 2022, Mr. Smith received a citation for operating without a valid proper tag or decal. Officer Mills issued that citation. Officer Mills, on the date in question, do you have an opportunity to come in contact with Mr. Smith?
I did.
Can you briefly state the nature of that contact?
So I observed Mr. Smith pulling a trailer without proper working tail lights. So I initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle. During my traffic stop and my brief investigation, I discovered a number of other things that was wrong with the vehicle, to include the wrong tag being displayed on the pickup truck of the vehicle. No tag was also displayed on the trailer. The pickup truck also had a defective brake light. Let's see. The trailer. Yeah, once again, the trailer did not have a license plate displayed on it. And the trailer also had expired registration. The trailer tag also had expired registration.
Okay, but you didn't issue a citation for any registration, correct?
Yes, I did. So
Okay,
that's
because I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just have one citation.
Yeah, it looks like he issued a total of 5 citations.
We're on Mr. Smith?
Yep, he has 1 citation for expired tag, another citation for concealing a tag, another one for obstruction or missing tag because he says the trailer didn't have a tag at all. And then he has 2 light charges, 1 for the trailer, 1 for the pickup truck.
Okay, I apologize, Judge. My file has some blank pages that I don't believe scanned in. They're not showing anything, so those are probably the additional tickets. But going off the calendar, what you've read off, so I have no further questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Smith, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Officer Mills?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, sir.
Officer Mills.
Thank you.
Which tag did not have a decal on it?
So your trailer was expired, sir. So you had your trailer tag displayed on the pickup truck, okay? And when I ran your VIN from the trailer, it showed the registration on that trailer was expired, okay? So that's when I'm talking about operating without proper tag or decal. That's what I'm running the VIN on that trailer, and seeing that the registration on that trailer was expired at the time of the stop.
So why did you detain me?
What do you mean?
You know what detain means.
Objection, Your Honor, being argumentative.
Mr. Smith, he has a right to detain you anytime you have tag violations, okay?
Okay, so I was asking
So
him
go
why.
ahead and ask go ahead and ask the question, but I'm just letting you know that he has the right to detain you anytime you have tag violations.
Okay.
So go ahead and ask your question, sir, or whatever your next question might be.
Okay. Officer Mims, why was I detained?
All right, sir. And this happened a while ago, and I detained a lot of people on traffic stops, so you have to refresh my memory. All right, but if you had a lot going on, all right. So if you had a trailer tag displayed on a pickup truck, etc., you got a lot of stuff going on, then hey, maybe I detained you because I suspected you might be concealing a pickup truck because it might be a stolen vehicle, or maybe the trailer might have been stolen, and I had to conduct an investigation. All right, I didn't want you running off or anybody getting hurt while I was conducting that investigation. Like I said, you had a lot going on, a lot of infractions, and swapped information. All right. When I come across traffic stops like that, or I conduct investigations where I come across infractions like that, it is typical for me to detain the driver and or any other occupants, okay? While I conduct my investigation, especially if I'm out there by myself.
But you detained me before you found a lot was going on. If I'm not mistaken, you said that
Oh,
my
Mr.
trailer.
Smith, Mr. Smith, this is when you ask questions. I have no problems with the context of this, but remember, you are asking questions.
Asking
You will
questions.
have a chance to testify. So you asked him why he detained you. He explained to you why. Move on to your next question.
Okay. Officer Mills said that my trailer came up stolen. You said that you pulled me over because my tag came up expired. So if my tag came up expired on my trailer, where did you get the tag from on my trailer?
Well, sir, that's not what I stated. I said I pulled you over because you had no tag on your trailer, and additionally you had no taillights on the trailer. Okay.
Okay.
When I'm making my stop, it based on you pulling the trailer behind your vehicle, I wouldn't be able to read the tag on your pickup truck. All right, unless I caught it from an angle or something like that. But irregardless of that, I didn't say I pulled you over because of what you said. I said I pulled you over because you had no working brake lights on your trailer or brake lights / tail lights, and you did not have a tag displayed on that trailer.
Okay, Officer Mills, when you said no working brake light,
Sir.
When you said no working brake light, what does that mean? Does that mean the car is in park or the car is in mobile?
No,
and
sir.
it's displaying the lights not working?
Okay, so no working brake lights or tail lights. All right, in the state of Georgia, you have to have, whether it be any, at the end of any vehicle, whether it be a trailer or a truck, passenger vehicle, you have to have working brake lights or tail lights, all right? And those are red lights that have to be emitted from the rear of the vehicle when the brake is applied, all right? That lets drivers behind you know that you are coming to a stop, okay, or slowing down.
Officer Mims, I observed you sitting in the
Let me
church.
just say this, Mr. Smith, I think the officer's name is Officer Mills.
Oh, Mills?
Mills, M-I-L-L-S.
Oh.
M-I-L-L-S.
Mispronunciation. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay. Go ahead and ask your next question.
Yeah, Officer Mills, during the time when you approached me, you was sitting inside of the church right there about maybe 2,000 feet from Forest, Old Dixie and Forest Parkway. During that time, I was in mobile. How was you to observe if I had lights that was operable or not?
Sir, I don't know. I don't remember exactly where I was sitting when I observed your traffic infraction, but I know I did observe it. And if I'm not mistaken, I even, and this is something I typically do on most traffic stops, okay, I'll allow the driver to see what I'm talking about, specifically when it comes to brake lights, headlights, etc. If I do cite or if I give a verbal warning, because hey, I'm not just out here to give tickets, I'm here to inform the public as well. And that's one thing I strive to do. If I observe an infraction that I can show you and we can both confirm, hey, we're looking at the same thing, that's an opportunity that I take to do. And I believe I took the opportunity to do that with you as well. Okay.
Okay, so Officer Mills, you were sitting inside of the church parking lot. I remember it's clear today. And if I'm not mistaken, you started pursuing me as I saw in my rearview mirror as I entered into the racetrack there to obtain some gasoline or whatever, but all the pumps were full. You continued down Forest Parkway.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, this is where you ask questions. You're not asking questions. No, you're not. You're testifying, sir. Can you just ask questions? Okay, just make these questions.
Okay. Well, Officer Mills, you just you give a warning. Why wasn't I give a warning?
So you had an extensive, first of all, you did not have any of your trailer tail lights were not working. Okay, typically I don't give warnings in that scenario as well. All right, and if you don't have any kind of brake lights whatsoever, do not give warnings. All right, and once again, you had a number of infractions going on with your vehicle, taking the trailer tag off the trailer and placing it on your vehicle. That's not something I give a warning for. All right. You also had a tail light out on your pickup truck where it was no longer emitting red. Okay. Let's see. You had your registration for the trailer was expired. Okay, that wasn't something I was going to give a warning for. What else? And you also did not have a tag plate on the trailer because it was on your pickup truck. All right.
Okay.
Like I said, you had a multitude, and I believe I let you go on a few verbal warnings. I believe you had some additional things going on, and I let you go on a few verbal warnings as well. All right, so I did give you some warnings. I don't know exactly what they were, but I remember explaining to you, hey, look, I could additionally hit you with X, Y, Z, but we're only going to focus on these things today. Okay.
Okay, Officer Mills. I'm going to ask you about the trailer because when you detained me, you came back and said that the trailer was stolen, and I said, no, sir, no, it's not. So I asked you.
I guess he froze. Internet went out. So.
Hello.
Go ahead, Mr. Smith. You froze up a moment. If you want to go ahead and ask your question, sir.
Okay. Officer Mills, when you first went to get the registration out of my vehicle, you didn't obtain it, and you said that the trailer had expired, the tag had expired. The registration showed that it wasn't expired. So why did you issue me a ticket for that?
Well, sir, I printed out a hard copy on that date, okay, and the time of that traffic stop. I have it attached to the back of this citation I have right here, sir. I'm not talking about right now, but I'm talking about the date of the stop, all right? So our database, which is GCIC, all right, which is the information I use to cite you for that expired tag, okay, or expired trailer, okay? I have a hard copy of that date and timestamp. On that day, I pulled you over. It's attached to this citation. All right. Now, anybody can go to the DMV or the registration tag office the following day and then get registration put on their vehicle or bring their stuff up to date and then say, yeah, officer, I had it valid at the time of the stop. All right. So that's why we print hard copies.
Yes, sir.
And
Isn't anything that you get from the DMV is validated for that date?
I don't deal with the DMV, sir.
I'm just asking you, don't you own a vehicle? That anything you get from the Department of the DMV is validated for that date?
I would assume, yes, they have a validation.
Okay, wasn't this the tag on the back of the truck when you're supposed to be over?
I don't know, sir. I don't know. If you hold it,
you don't know.
If you hold it fully in the frame, I can verify with my notes.
Well, all right. So, Mr. Smith, let me make sure I'm understanding. Are you saying that at the date and time of the stop, you have paperwork that shows that your vehicle, that your tag was valid on or before December 29, 2022?
Yes, sir, as of August 29th.
Let us see that. Why don't you just show the tag doesn't really support that because it doesn't show when it's done.
The
You have
registration.
to understand validation is time stamped. So do you have your tag receipt?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you show that?
Okay, please hold, sir.
And Judge, looks like, so I have a correction, a slight correction, all right? So I cited him for his truck being expired. The trailer tag was expired, and additionally, his vehicle was expired. I confirmed his vehicle was expired through running his VIN number. All right,
Okay.
so I cited him for expired registration on the vehicle, and it looks like I gave him a verbal warning on the expired registration on the trailer.
Okay. So from your estimation, the vehicle tag, which was the trailer tag, so there was no vehicle tag, but from what you could tell, even if he had a vehicle tag, that tag was expired and the trailer tag was expired. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I confirmed the vehicle was expired through the VIN, and running the trailer tag, it looks like it had a valid date of 05/23/2012. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, he's pulling his paperwork now, and you run this through the tag office. He is pulling his tag receipts to show if they failed to input this information. All right. So what is this? Is this your vehicle or is this your tag receipt that you're talking about?
This is the trailer tag. I'm not arguing the vehicle. Which, you know, that's the one that I pled guilty to.
All right. So now the trailer tag. When did you get the trailer tag?
I got the trailer tag August.
It'll say
29th.
purchase date. It'll say purchase date.
Yeah, August 29th. I got it August 27th.
Of what year?
2023. I'm sorry, 2022.
So you have the trailer tag.
Right, the tag that I just showed you, this tag right here, which got the August 23rd on it.
Okay.
This is the tag that was initially on the truck where I made
All
a
right, so what
mistake.
I'm going to ask you to do is you need to send that down to the court so we can have a copy for our files, but go on. So your testimony is that the tag on the trailer.
Yeah, the tag on the truck.
Tag on the trailer was valid, but the tag for the trailer was on the truck and it should have been on the trailer, right?
Was on the truck, and I wasn't aware.
No, you were aware because you put it on there, but you're saying that you just made a mistake.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
All
Also,
right,
that
and
means
I get
wasn't
that.
aware.
Okay, I get that.
made a
All right.
mistake. I
Get
made a
us
mistake.
that. All right. Do you have any other questions you want to ask Officer Mills?
And then I lost the tag was to the trailer in the scrap yard, and I thought that I thought that was which I hadn't went and recovered a new tag. You know what I'm saying? A new tag and thing for it. But I initially when he told me that it was not
So Mr.
covered.
Smith, let me just ask this. What I'm trying to do is keep the record in this case as clean as possible.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the phase where you're asking, do you have any other questions for Officer Mills?
Yeah, well, okay, but my other question is citation number 307 and 311, which one of those are correct? If I had the correct information for one of the license plates.
Well, let me explain. From his testimony, the tag on the truck, which there was no tag, that tag, even it had been, was not valid. Okay, there does not seem to be a dispute about that.
Right.
You had the tag from your trailer on your truck, which he is saying was not valid, which you are saying was valid.
Right.
Okay, and then by placing your trailer tag on your truck, you are obscuring the truck's tag. That doesn't seem to be a dispute. So we understand the tags. He's also said that you had a defective tail light on your truck and a defective tail light or brake light on your trailer. So those are the charges. What you've come forward with is simply to show that the tag on the trailer was valid. That's all that you've shown, which is fine. I just need to get a copy of it. What other questions do you want to ask him?
Yeah. How was it that it came up that it was stolen?
Well, let me say this, Mr. Smith. It doesn't matter because it turns out to be it was not stolen. So it really doesn't matter how it came up that it was stolen. Do you understand that? That's really not relevant to these traffic charges. Now, if you just generally want to know how it came up, my guess is whatever system he went into, that's what it showed. But understand, I'm trying to adjudicate these traffic charges. If the officer wants to say what information he received regarding the trailer, officer, please tell him that.
And I have two things, Judge. So I'm gonna answer your first question, how it might have came up as stolen. Now, if I don't believe I specifically told you, hey, this vehicle was stolen or this trailer is stolen. All right. Now through our discussion or our conversation, which is another reason you might have been detained, I might have told you, hey, I'm investigating if this trailer is stolen or if this vehicle is stolen. Okay, because you were concealing the identity of the vehicle, the trailer did not have a tag, you know. So if I mentioned the word stolen, it would have been in a stolen vehicle investigation. All right, conducting a stolen vehicle investigation. But I didn't charge you with any kind of theft by taking or theft by receiving charges. So I wouldn't have told you, hey, it's stolen or anything like that. All right. Second thing, Judge, the tag that he's displaying that he says he has valid registration for at the time of the stop, that was not the tag displayed on the vehicle.
Okay, that's not the tag that he had on his truck.
No, sir.
Okay.
That's inappropriate. I believe I have pictures of that tag on that truck during that time.
So Mr. Smith, when you present your case, you can say all of that. Okay.
All right, sir. You're frozen.
That's why I'm trying to let everyone say what they have. Any other questions of the officer?
You're frozen. You're frozen. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Sir, 1 second. He's aware.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any other questions you want to ask the officer? Mr. Smith, do you have any other questions you want to ask the officer?
I do have one other question. I mean, but as you directing, it doesn't pertain, what I'm saying, to the allegation.
Well, if it doesn't, then that is correct. All right. Do you have any other questions regarding these charges?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. So does the city rest its case? All right, the city has rested Mr. Smith. Now you can tell me what happened.
Okay, on December 27th, I was pursuing down Forest Parkway, on my way to the racetrack gas station. I observed Officer Beal sitting up inside of a church. As soon as I passed him by, he took off right behind me. I pulled into the gas station, as I was saying earlier, to go get some gasoline. And when I protruded out of the gas station, it was like he were pursuing me. So I turned it right onto Old Dixie. And as soon as I crossed it over Forest Parkway, he initiated his lights, and I pulled into Zestos. And he pulled in behind me and took him a few minutes to come out of his car. I guess he's running the check, and he came up to my car, and he asked for the information. I submitted him the information that he wanted, driver's license and stuff like that. And he walked away, and he came back, which I was standing on the side of the vehicle in the doorway. And he said that, can you put your stuff, put your cell phone down, and can you walk back here with me? So I did that. So he said that I'm going to detain you. And I asked him, why were you detaining me? And he put me inside of the back of the cruiser. And I kept asking him, why are you detaining me? And his specific words were, because you stole that trailer on the back of your truck. And I'm like, how could I steal my own trailer from off the back of my truck? He said, yeah, you stole it. You took it. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have proof of registration for the trailer inside of the truck, which I wasn't aware of the tag on the truck being in the wrong place at the time, because he didn't mention that. The first thing came out of his mouth was that I'm being detained because my trailer is stolen. So I said, well, you can go and look in my glove compartment and you can find the information, which this thing here I showed you. He came back and said, I didn't see no registration. I said, that's impossible. Go get the stack and bring it and I'll show it to you. So he came back and I had him fumble through it. And this is when he found this and he said, oh, okay, I see it now. You know what I'm saying? So I said, well, I didn't steal it. So he left and went to, there was a supervisor and another officer standing there. About 7 to 8 minutes, he came back and started reading my Miranda rights. You know what I'm saying? You have the right to remain silent. Anything will be used against you and after such and such and so. Okay, so after that, Officer Mills went back to convert with his colleagues, and he came back and he said that, well, is your trailer was ever stolen? I said, yeah, my name is Rodney Smith. My trailer was stolen in East Point about 4 or 5 years ago. And once that was confirmed, I think they called East Point, and that's when it was confirmed. So they undetained me. So after they undetained me, this is when everything else came up. Okay. I assumed that he couldn't arrest me, so he had to find some other reason. So that's when all these things came up: the expired license plate, the tag to use to conceal, the defective tail lights, the no defective tail lights, and the officer carried missing plates. All that came after. None of that was prior, before I was detained. So I kept asking him, why was I being detained? It was all about the trailer. Now, I have no argument about, this stuff, which, as you say, Your Honor, it's my fault that they were in the wrong place. So that is my closing argument.
Okay. Does the prosecution have any questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Smith, you've been charged with 3 different traffic violations and 2 tail light violations. On 2 of the tag violations, the court does find you guilty. On the 1 tag violation regarding the validity of the trailer tag, the court finds you not guilty of that violation. On the 2 tail light violations, the court finds you guilty. For each of the tag violations, the fine is $165. And the 2 tail light violations combined, the total fine is $100, making your total fine $420. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need to pay that while being on probation?
I can pay that in 2 weeks.
All right. So, Ms. Green, did you get the adjudication of the cases in this court?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so the expired tag, the fine is $165. The obscured or missing license plate, that fine is $165. The tag on the trailer, he's found not guilty. The tail light or defective light charges, those are $50 a piece. The total fine comes to $420.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have Mr. Smith's email address. We will email him his plea form as well as his 2-week agreement to pay the sum of $420.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. You can disengage from the call.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I just want to ask you one question.
What is your question?
Well, what if just Just a question. It ain't got nothing to do with what your proceedings and your
So
decision.
let me do this. I don't have a problem. Let me finish up my calendar. Hold on. Let me
No,
deal with the people that I have on the calendar.
It's just one. It's not even got
I
a
know,
detail.
but let me just finish up the calendar because I have a lot of people that are holding. I think you can tell I try to be very sensitive to people's time. Just hold on the calendar. If you have a question that has nothing to do with this case, I will come back to you when I finish up. So just hold on the line. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's okay, Your Honor. I'll find out when I go to the about paying the ticket. I'll get the information there. That's
Okay,
all.
well, thank you, sir. If not, just hold on and I'll be more than happy to answer your question.
I'm done. I'm done.
All right. James Tarver. James Tarver.
He's coming, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes, I told him.
This is also Officer Mills, Judge.
I think this is Officer Cruzley on, isn't it?
I have Mills on the ticket. I'm sorry. I'm back on Mr. Smith. Hold on. You said Tarver, James Tarver.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Tarver, it looks like your officer has a legal conflict today for not being here. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do understand.
That was provided to the court, so I'm going to reset this. You can tell me if you want me to keep this case here. Were you about to say something, Ms. Green?
Yes, the witness against him, Ms. Stiles, is here.
Okay, then we should be able to go forward with that case if we have Mr. Stiles. Ms. Stiles.
Yes.
All right, if we can have the witness to please come forward. This is a following too closely charge, Mr. Prosecutor.
Yes, but I'm looking at my file and it appears, oh, no, we got it. Here it is. Following too closely. And the witness's name?
Ms. Stiles.
Tanya Stiles. Okay. I'm ready to proceed, Judge.
All right, everyone that's going to testify, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do. All right, you want to go ahead and present, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. On or about October 5th of 2022, Mr. Tarver was issued a citation for following too close. That citation was issued by Officer Cruz Leon, but this was an accident and the officer was dispatched to the location, so we don't need them present on the Zoom in order to proceed. We do have the witness, Ms. Stiles, who was the driver of the other vehicle involved in the accident. Ms. Stiles, on the date in question, were you involved in a motor vehicle accident with Mr. Tarver, the gentleman who is on the Zoom camera?
Oh,
Is she there?
Yes.
Okay. And can you briefly state to the court how the accident occurred?
I don't know the name of the street. I had just got off the interstate. We was going to the farmer's market. I got in the left lane to turn towards going to the farmer's market. It was a car in front of me. They stopped and I stopped and he slid in the back of my car.
Okay, so this was a rear end accident, is that correct?
Yes.
And was there damage to the back of your vehicle?
My bumper got black marks all on it.
All right. And did you or did somebody else call the Forest Park Police Department to be dispatched?
I did.
And when the officer arrived, were you able to speak to the officer and tell him exactly what you've stated to the court here today?
Yes.
All right, no further questions, Judge.
All right. Mr. Tarver, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Ms. Stiles?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I want to use this for evidence. I'll make sure. The question I have is this a picture that you submitted to my insurance company, USAA?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Is this the same picture?
Yes.
Okay, and like this?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. I'm gonna put this in evidence. That's my only question. Okay, I'm finished with my questions.
I don't know what was the question other than, is this the picture that you sent to USAA?
Yes, sir. This is a picture of the incident that she reported that I caused this matter with her car.
You're saying, is this you're asking her, is this the picture that she sent to your insurance company?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have any questions? Other than that, do you have any questions you want to ask her?
No, sir. Just make sure that this is what she's saying, that
It's a picture of the incident or the
It
damage.
wouldn't be the incident, it would be the damage to the vehicle.
Yeah, I had to make sure that she acknowledged this in court, that
Okay, all right, that is fine. Does the prosecution have any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Judge.
All right, does the prosecution rest?
City rests, Your Honor.
All right, the city has rested. Mr. Tarver, you can go ahead and present your case. The testimony is that the front of your vehicle damaged the rear end of Ms. Stiles' vehicle. That is what her testimony is. What would you like to say, sir?
on that date, they had construction going on and the traffic is merging. The officer, I passed by him, but he's not here to testify, but he was there in the car, so I saw him. And from my recollection, she was coming one way and I was coming this way. And I did hit her car, but she was merging into the lane and then kind of touch each other. So she got out of the car and she said, well, you're gonna pay, you're gonna pay. I looked at the car, I didn't see any real damage. I just saw a smear. So I told her I would take care of it. Don't have to call the insurance company. I take care of it. But since you keep saying you're gonna pay me, you're gonna pay me. I just said, well, probably that's the call the police to get a record, get everything up this on file. And the police came and he wrote the tickets and everything.
Okay. All right. Does the prosecution have any questions for Mr. Tarver?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Tarver, do you rest your case?
Yes, sir. And
All right.
damage on her car, like the picture here, is my car, my truck sit higher. And when she said, well, you did this to my truck. You know, I thought she was just kind of joking, just want money. I said, well, I take care of it. I have it buffed out. But my truck is a F350, which is for CDL, hot shot truck. So it sits high. And the bunker is also much higher. See, like I have in a picture here. Now,
So let me say this to you, Mr. Tarver. I don't mind you introducing this, but I just don't want you to think that I don't determine damages. My job is not to determine damages. My job is simply to determine whether or not the motor vehicle code or the traffic code was violated. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not determining whether or not you damaged her vehicle or whether or not she damaged your vehicle. I'm just determining whether or not your vehicle made impact with the rear of her vehicle. That's what following too closely is. The damages issue will be resolved by another judge in a different court.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, so go ahead. I just want to say that to you because you tend to be focusing more on damages. And I just wanted to let you know that's not my purview to address that.
The reason why I brought this up, because that's why we're here now, because when our car did make impact, she was saying that I done damage to her vehicle. And that's why she called police. Because first thing she asked for my insurance information, which I told her I didn't see any damage. It's a smear. I think it was there before. I would buff it out if I have to. And she kept insisting, well, you damaged my car. So I said, well, just call the police and do a report. And that's why.
Right. You said that.
Yes.
Okay. So are you saying this did not happen?
I'm not saying that something happened, but I'm saying that she's using the word damage because we kind of go back to the same point. If she didn't really wanted the money or something like that, we wouldn't be here. Because if I would give my insurance company my card, we would not be here. But since I did not give her a card forthcoming, he said, well, I'm gonna call the cops. And that's what she did. I told her, go ahead and call it because we kept going around in a circle about, okay, you did this to my car. And I said, I'll pay for it. You know, I'll buff it out if I did that. But we kept going in a circle. I said, just go ahead and call the cops. And that way, you know, we get it on record. Maybe by going to court and we'll prove that innocent.
Okay. All right. Do you rest your case, Mr. Tarver?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Mr. Tarver, you've entered a not guilty plea to the charge of following too closely. The legal definition of following too closely is just simply that based on the posted speed limit on any street, a car is supposed to be back a certain distance. So if another car stops, they have adequate room to stop. You've been charged with following too closely. Court finds you guilty of the violation. The fine amount is $175. Are you able to satisfy that in 2 weeks, or do you need to a longer period of time?
I can stop by that today.
All right, sir, you will be directed to the clerk's office to pay the sum of $175, having been found guilty of the charge of following too closely.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Stiles.
Can I have a question? Since
Yes, what?
Is it possible to pay the fine without having the points against my license? Because I haven't seen.
Because you've been found guilty, sir, there will be points.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Excellent.
Okay. Next, we will call Mr. I think there was a gentleman whose ticket you were going to pull, Mr.
DeVault.
Right. And we had Mr. Mims.
Mr. Mims is in the courtroom. I had him come in the courtroom,
All right.
but Mr. DeVault is here. And
All
I
right.
did pull his other ticket.
All right, we'll go with Mr. DeVault first. Mr. DeVault, you have 2 charges of expired tag. What is your plea to the 2 charges, sir? Is it guilty, not, well, what is your plea? Is it guilty, not guilty, or nolo contendere?
No, sir.
You're entering a nolo plea to both charges, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that by entering into the nolo plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
I didn't hear you, sir.
You understand that you're entering this plea without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
And do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, the fine for both violations are $330. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to pay that today, or do you need a longer period of time?
I need some time, sir.
Can you pay it within 2 weeks, or do you need to be placed on probation?
I can pay in 2 weeks.
All right, Ms. Green, if we can get his nolo plea form from him, and he will pay this within 2 weeks.
Okay,
Each of the violations are $165 apiece.
yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. DeVault.
Yes, sir.
All right, next we have Mr. Mims. Have we been able to verify Mr. Mims' insurance?
I have Mr. Cedric, the court administrator is working on that now. I can go check the status.
Okay. And do we have any other cases on the calendar?
Let me see, we have some people in the waiting room. I know a couple of them are, Red Speed. So give me 1 second.
Judge, in light of that announcement, I'm gonna go ahead and head over to UC for the 11 o'clock.
All right, thank you. We'll see you back here at 1.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the court administrator did confirm that he had insurance for those dates. Did you hear me?
Ms. Green?
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Yes, he had valid insurance on December 24th, 2022.
That is correct.
All right, then the failure to maintain insurance charge is being dismissed and the other charge is being dismissed as well. Have him to enter a not guilty plea. Both charges were dismissed and Mr. Mims is free to go.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, do we only have Red Speed left?
Yes, I'm gonna let. And we have a question from Mr. What's his name? Martin Berry in reference to his case. Come on up, sir, real quick. Thank you. Mhm.
Yes. Sir.
Yes.
Yes, I was just trying to see if I could plead to the court to keep the points off my license.
There's nothing that I can do at this point, sir, because I think you went to trial and the case has been adjudicated. What I can tell you is that you can always take a safe driving course and send a copy of that into the Department of Driving Services, and they can remove the points as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. You want to call your Red Speed cases, Ms. Green?
Yes, 1 second, Your Honor.
And do we have any probation cases?
They didn't show.
Okay, so, all right,
Give me 1 second, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
okay. I'll give you a minute. We'll resume court in 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
Mr. Duval, can you have him look over that and sign that for me? And this one is. Okay, you're good to go. Your case is named. Put your email address on the thing.
I figured you already had it.
Well, I do, but I just want to make sure. In the event that I don't.
What's he supposed to do?
He's going to pay $330 within 2 weeks.
3:30 by 2 weeks from today.
I'm gonna just rip that little part off after he signs it, so he'll have that.
Okay, so we. Okay, but it's already signed. Right?
Well, I put his name on there.
Oh, well.
Thank you, you
Okay,
good stuff.
sign it, right? Sign it, right?
Yes,
Oh, it says email, just sign it, just sign it.
yeah, just sign that. Thank you. Do you have an email? Ask him, does he have an email?
Do you have an email? It's misspelled, my name is misspelled.
I'm sorry,
That's
I
okay.
did that. That's okay.
But she did that, she got, all right. Don't matter? Yeah, it's okay. Do you have an email address? Okay, all right, why don't you put that below, right, all right.
Just let him know it's due on the 20th. Thank you. Good afternoon. Well, we're still morning. Good morning. Zoom user, ma'am, can you identify who you are?
Eliza Watley.
Okay, ma'am, you're gonna have to put on a jacket or shirt. You're gonna have to sit up. We're having actual court, so you cannot be lying down in bed, okay?
Okay.
The individual who has Zoom user in the pink, what's your name, ma'am?
Eliza Watley? No?
Watley?
Yes, Eliza Watley.
Not you, ma'am.
Oh.
Is mine populating as Zoom user?
Yes, what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Shawana Kelly.
Kelly. Are you on the docket?
Yes, I had a today was my court date with Royal Cobb.
Okay, that case has already been adjudicated. You were late logging in, so that case has already been handled.
Okay, so
You're free to go.
all right, thank you.
Ms. Peak, you're here for a red speed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just 1 moment for me.
Okay.
Ma'am, whoever the Malaysia, I have
Yes.
two. Are you signed in twice?
Yes, I had it on my phone and I had it on my computer. I didn't know which one was gonna, I thought my computer was gonna die. I can leave on the other one.
I'm gonna.
Turn off one of them, please.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Green, you ready?
Yes,
All right, which one do you want to proceed with first?
we can go along with Miss, what's your last name, Watley?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Watley, yes,
Is she red speed?
yes,
All right, can you please pull up her paperwork?
yes. Give me 1 second. Hope I can do this. I'm sorry, Your Honor, give me 1 second. I'm maneuvering a couple of screens.
Take your time.
Watley. Okay, almost there, I'm sorry. Can you see the screen now, Your Honor?
I can. So Ms. Watley,
Yes,
yeah, let me have you to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, young lady, it looks like you have received a red speed violation where you've been accused of speeding in a school zone via a camera system here in the city of Forest Park. Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. This process is a civil process. It is not a criminal process. And so it tells you, if you read the form, what the statutory defenses are. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. So my first question to you is, were you operating the vehicle on March the 28th, 2023 at 9:40 a.m.?
Yes.
All right. And does this vehicle belong to you?
Say it again.
Does this vehicle belong to you?
Yes.
Okay. So this vehicle has been charged with driving in excess of the school zone speed on that date. You've admitted that you were in fact the operator and that the vehicle belongs to you. What would you like to say as to why you do not believe you should be civilly held responsible for this?
Okay, so I'm a school bus driver and I know the school law. The lights weren't flashing and it doesn't say on the signs posted saying that you have to go to school speed limit while kids are in school. So usually what we were told in training, if the lights are flashing and it's in between those posted times, that's when we have to go that speed limit. If not, we go the speed limit of the street that is, that you're on. So the lights weren't flashing and it wasn't in between that time period. So I didn't know that it was supposed, that it's, like I said, when school's in, it's still that speed limit. I know there are a couple of cities that do that, but like I said, it's not posted on the sign.
You're saying the time is not posted on the sign.
Okay, you know how on the school zone speeds it says like 7 to 9.
Right, you're saying the times of the school zone application, you're saying were not posted on the sign that you saw.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
what I'm saying is when I spoke to the people that you guys use for the school zone, they said that Forest Park is one of those cities that as long as kids are in school, you have to go that speed limit, but it's not posted on the signs that way. So no one would know that you're supposed to go that speed limit 35 miles per hour while school is in, even if it's not flashing.
So my question to you is, on the signs in Forest Park, does it have any time posted?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and what time did it say was the school zone time?
I believe it was like 7 to 9 or something like that, or I don't know, it was so long ago. But I mean, I know it's usually like 7 to 9. It depends on the school, if it's elementary, middle, or high school, but it's like an hour before school starts and an hour after school starts.
Okay.
But I don't know which one I passed.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That's it.
Okay, so you said that you spoke to someone. Do you have that person available to testify as a witness today?
No, it was on the school. It was, oh no, it was whoever owns the whatever school zone, whatever company you guys use. I don't know.
And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know either. Do you know who you spoke to?
I don't remember her name.
You said you do or you do not remember her name?
I don't remember the lady's name. I don't remember the lady's name. I just know I have to look at the original paper that I got before I even scheduled the hearing.
Do you know when you spoke to this person?
Yes, it was a month ago.
When?
We're in June. So it was May. I don't remember exactly. I just know it was in May.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That's it.
All right, Ms. Green, can you please scroll down?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Watley, based on the information that you have provided, the court does find you civilly responsible for this violation. The fine amount is $75. If you will please make payment consistent with the directions that are provided in this notice. Do you understand that? Okay. All right, well, thank you. You can disengage.
Wait, it says I have to pay by May 12th. That's passed already.
Well, you will need to, your case has been adjudicated now, so you will have some time to pay. You can let them know, they'll send in here, letting them know that your case was adjudicated today. So I would tell you to get this paid within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, who do I need to call?
You need to go to, if you look at the image, they give you an email address and you need to pay it to that, but follow the directions that are on this notice.
Okay.
All right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. You want to go to the next matter, Ms. Green?
Yes, we have, we have Ms. Peak.
All right,
Can you see this, Your Honor?
I can. Ms. Peak,
Good morning, Your Honor.
good morning. How are you doing? Let me have you to please raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right, young lady, it looks like there's a vehicle that's depicted. Does that vehicle belong to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And were you the operator of that vehicle on that day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you've been charged with a civil violation of a school zone violation via cameras. And would you like to tell me why you believe you should not be responsible for this civil fine?
Yes, Your Honor. Going through the school zones, one thing I've noticed in Forest Park in particular, there are a lot of technical things going wrong, like the cameras, the lights don't flash to indicate that you may see a sign that lets you know that you're nearing a school, but there is no other indicator with the flashing lights to let you know that you should be abiding at a certain speed limit during a certain time. There's never an indicator. What I had noticed, I've gone through and I've taken pictures. Usually when you're entering into the school zone, that's always the light that I've noticed is not working. And then when you get out of the school zone, as you come out, you'll see a light behind you that's flashing, letting you know that you were in a school zone. But there's never a indicator to inform the passersby that they're entering into a school zone.
Okay. So I want to be sure I'm repeating what you're saying. You're saying that there is no indicator that puts the public on notice prior to getting to the school zone that they're entering a school zone area.
Right. There are signs, but the flashing lights are not flashing during the times that the school zone is in effect. Like it doesn't work during those times.
Okay. So on the date of March the 7th, was there a sign that said what the time of the school zone was? That depicted on the sign that you saw?
I've probably only seen the time one time, and it was not in Forest Park. There are no time indicators. There's just the yellow sign where it has the two yellow lights, one at the top and one at the bottom. but neither of them are flashing. I never noticed a time.
Okay. And you're saying on the day in question, you're saying that the lights were not flashing at this time?
Right.
And do you know if March 7th was a school day?
March 7th, may I double check?
You can, I'm gonna do the same. I
Okay.
looked at it.
March the 7th was a Tuesday.
Yep, it was a school zone. It was a school day. All right. Is there
Yes, sir.
anything else you'd like to say?
No.
All right. Ms. Green, can you please scroll down for me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, young lady, based on the information that I've heard and your sworn testimony, the court does find you civilly responsible for this. Your case has been adjudicated today for you to satisfy the civil fine of $75. Please go to the information that was sent to you, go to their website, and please satisfy it through their website. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, and you can disengage from the call.
Okay, thanks.
All right, no problem. Ms. Green, do you want to go to the next person?
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, well, we can turn off the live recording and everything.
Okay, let me stop sharing.